What is up, everybody? Welcome in. This is your boy Catndahat with the AFCEASTIEBOYS. It's Friday morning. We waiting on the news for Anthony Weaver. The Miami Dolphins have pretty much filled in all of their coaching staff. There's just a few more pieces to be left. Few more pieces left to be filled out to figure out who all is going to be on this team. But we have a good majority of our coaches on staff currently. A few of them came from Green Bay. A few others came from various other places around the league. Most of them do have some kind of chemistry or relation to Jeff Hafley or Sully, whether it be from Green Bay or whether it be from San Francisco, Houston, some of these other places that Jeff Hafley has been. So we're gonna go over it today. We're gonna go over some of the coaches that have been brought in to find out where we stand as the Miami Dolphins heading into 2026. Like, what is this team gonna look like? What types of players are we gonna be drafting this year? Because so far, everything seems so good, right? So far, they've said all the right words. So far, they've said all the right things. So far, they got me fired up. Got me ready to run through a wall. Yes, so far they got me ready to run through a wall. The things that Jeff Hafley's been saying, he's been on quite a few interviews since he's been hired. Yet last night he was on with Travis Wingfield. That interview was actually recorded on Monday. They didn't release it till yesterday, which is kind of weird in my opinion. It took a very long time, a week of editing. In my opinion, that's way too long, considering that's literally what you do all day long. I know if I had an interview with one of our coaches, it'd be out tomorrow. It'd be out the same day. I'd get it out to you guys the same day if I didn't do it live. I would probably just do it live for you guys and then fix mistakes later and put out another video afterwards. Give y'all the real, because that's what we do here with the AFCEASTIEBOYS. We keep it real. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start breaking down the additions to this roster, right? This coaching staff. Break down the additions to the coaching staff. Ladies and gentlemen, the Discord is open if you would like to join in. It is open and you can join and you can conversate and we can talk through this together. But welcome in, everybody. Make sure y'all smash that like, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe on the way in as well. Let's go ahead and start breaking down and finding out what types of coaches Jeff Hafley has brought in here to help him take this team and turn this team around. Can the Miami Dolphins pull a New England Patriots Mike Vrabel type turnaround, right? We've seen it happen this year. We don't have to look back very far into history to see that teams can get it turned around in a year if they get everything together and they do everything properly in the off season. And with us basically starting from scratch in the Miami Dolphins organization, we have to getting it right with the coaches is the first step to turning this ship around, right? Getting it right with the coaches is going to be the first step. And then the next step will be evaluating the players that we have on the team, evaluating the players that we have hitting free agency, deciding who's going to stay, who's going to go. All of these things come into play. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and drop them into the chat. I'll make sure to answer them as we go. And if you're here after the show, go ahead and drop them in the chat anyways. I'm always active. I'm always checking the comments. So if you drop a comment asking a question, I will most likely get back to you. Or you could just join our Discord. You could join our Discord and you can have 24/7 access to the AFC Eastie Boys. You don't have to wait for a comment to be responded to on the YouTube platform. It could be responded to right away. You can find that Discord link on our profile page. If you go down and you look through the links, Discord is a good place to be. It's how you get up here and talk football with the AFC Eastie Boys. It's also a place where you want to be plugged into to win any of our giveaways. That way, if you win, we can get a hold of you. We can send you out your winnings. We're just trying to build a good community in the Discord of people that just want to talk football, try and win some money. We go over parlays. We discuss all of that stuff. So Discord's definitely a good place to be. While you're there looking through our profile page and looking through those links for the Discord, you'll also see a link for the DCC, Dolphins Cancer Challenge. We're about 1 month away from the actual 5K, but we're accepting donations all the way through March. We're less than $25 away from our first $500. For every $500, this boy right here, Catndahat, gonna run a mile per $500 every day, all the way up until the 5K. So go ahead. There's no donation too big or too small. Go ahead and make a donation. Help save lives. Help change the future. Maybe we can defeat cancer here soon. We're right around the corner with the advancements in modern technology and modern medicine. There's no reason we can't put a halt to cancer. Also in those links, you'll find the link for Charlie's Choice Collectibles. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get all this stuff out of the way to Jump Street, right? In those links, you'll find Charlie's Choice Collectibles. That's a great spot to go and do your gift giving shopping, or if you just want to do shopping any time of the year. Like it's a place where you're gonna find unique stuff for the football fans and non-football fans alike. All kinds of cool stuff on that website, so make sure you go check it out. It's also the place where you're gonna get your AFC Eastie Boys personalized jerseys. Just hop on there, type in the chat, type in the comments, hey bro, I want one of them AFC Eastie Boys jerseys. We'll get your details. We'll get the deets from you, and then we'll get it working and get it sent out to you. It starts at $35 depending on how customized you want it. And don't forget, 500 subscribers. We got that giveaway going on for when we hit 500 subscribers. Mike Gesicki autographed 9x16 photo of his rookie year hurdling over a dude. Don't want to miss out on that. We're going to get that out to one lucky viewer. One of you lucky viewers is going to be able to win that Mike Gesicki autograph photo. It's super easy to do. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, and make sure you share. And tag the AFC Eastie Boys whenever you share so we know that you're sharing. Thanks for listening to our boring commercials. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Yes. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. So as we were talking about, Miami Dolphins pretty much have all of their coaching staff in place. There's a few more pieces that we're waiting to be filled. We're waiting to be put together. One of those is the DC. Most likely, our defensive coordinator is going to be Sean Duggan. We're just waiting to see what happens with Anthony Weaver before they make an actual announcement. But don't be surprised if by Monday or even by the end of the day today, we see the announcement that Sean Duggan will be the new DC. I unfortunately won't be live for that. I had to do live this morning. I got a whole bunch of work I got to do after this. So, yeah, that's that. I'll be working until probably 9 or 10 p.m. tonight. Anyway, so let's go through our coaches that are currently on staff, that have currently been brought in to this organization, and kind of figure out what this team might look like next year for the 2026 season, to see if a turnaround like a New England Patriots Mike Vrabel turnaround is even possible, which I think it is if we attack the draft properly. The way that these guys have been talking definitely got me want to run through a wall. If they got y'all fired up too, let me get some fire emojis in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let me get those fire emojis in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, because they got us fired up. All right, so the newest addition to our coaching staff, Nathaniel Hackett, announced yesterday. Not so much announced yesterday, but sources are saying that he's our next quarterback coach. And there's mixed feelings about Nathaniel Hackett, right? There's mixed feelings. Some people think that it's a waste. Some people don't. All right, now I'm a little skeptical about it, but I'm also kind of excited about it as well. So if we look through his resume here, you can see that he started in Syracuse, right? 2010 to 2012 in college. He served as the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach, and tight ends coach, helping them achieve a winning record and a bowl win. Before that, all right, so he was with the Buffalo Bills before that, right? So 2008 and 2009, he started his NFL career as an offensive quality control coach with the Buccaneers, and then held the same role and later became the offensive coordinator for the Bills. So you can see here, so 2008, 2009, I'm guessing he was coaching for the Bucs and then the Bills. And then went to Syracuse for 2 years, and then came back to Buffalo to be an offensive coordinator for 2013, 2014. Nothing too special there. And then he went to Jacksonville in 2015 to 2018. He worked as the quarterback coach before being promoted to offensive coordinator, where his 2017 offense was one of the best in the league, ranking first in rushing yards and fifth in points. First in rushing yards, and he's a quarterback coach. Fifth in points. All right. And 2019 to 2021, during his first stint as offensive coordinator, the Packers were a top-tier offense, leading the NFL in scoring in 2020 and helping quarterback Aaron Rodgers win back-to-back MVP awards. Now this is appealing right here, right? This right here is appealing. The Green Bay stat from his time in Green Bay, this is very appealing for us as Miami Dolphins, right? Because like he did this during his first stint as offensive coordinator. The Packers were a top-tier offense, leading the NFL in scoring in 2020 and helping quarterback Aaron Rodgers get to back-to-back MVP awards. And why is that important? Because we're pretty much the Green Bay South, right? Everybody's calling us Green Bay South. It's Lambeau, Miami. However you want to look at it. So he did good in the Packers organization with the way that they were running things. So considering the fact that we have Jeff Hafley over here, we're going to have Sully over here, I expect him to go back to his 2019 to 2021 I expect him to go back to that kind of performance. But in 2022, for the Denver Broncos, Hackett had a brief, difficult tenure as the head coach, finishing with a 4-11 record before being fired during his first season amid significant criticism for game and clock management. So he wasn't able to really handle the head coaching role, it seemed like, because right after that, he ended up going to the New York Jets, where he was the offensive coordinator, but was stripped of play calling duties early in the 2024 season due to offensive struggles. Now, I don't necessarily know if I can blame that on Nathaniel Hackett, right? Because that was also the Aaron Rodgers year, which is kind of weird that Aaron Rodgers stole play calling away from Nathaniel Hackett, considering just a few years prior, Nathaniel Hackett helped him get to back-to-back MVP awards and had him leading the league in scoring in 2020. So, but after his stint with the New York Jets, he goes back to Green Bay for 2025 for last year. He served as the defensive an analyst for the Packers during the 2025 season. Now he's the quarterback coach for Miami. So this is the biggest question mark, right? Or one of the biggest question marks, because he's a quarterback coach, but if you look through his career, he's been a lot of different things, right? He hasn't really found one lane and stuck with it. He's kind of like swerving all over the road as he's driving down I-95, just like doom, 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 switching lanes, which isn't something I look for in one of my coaches, right? That was one of the big things that I liked about Sully coming over here, is he's basically done one thing, stayed in that one lane, and just worked his way up to the top. To whereas this Nathaniel Hackett guy has bounced around a lot. Could be good, but at the same time it could be bad too, because he hasn't really perfected any of his jobs. And you can see here, his first time as a head coach, didn't even make it through a full year, gets fired, ends up going to the Jets, again, doesn't even make it through a full year as an offensive coordinator there. But now he's taking a step back, another step back, to a quarterback coach, not even an offensive coordinator, a quarterback coach. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? See if we can find some. This one honestly kind of worries me and makes me feel like it's a buddy pick from Jeff Hafley. But we'll see. I'm just glad that we got rid of Darrell Bevell. All right? I'm just glad that we got rid of Darrell Bevell as our quarterback coach, because Darrell Bevell's been here for a while and hasn't really accomplished anything, right? Hasn't really accomplished anything. We've seen quarterbacks regress under the coaching of Darrell Bevell. Skylar Thompson showed promise, quickly regressed. Tyler Huntley came in here, was not able to get a hold of this offense, was not able to be productive. We watched Tua Tagovailoa digress, consistently digress. So can Nathaniel Hackett be a good quarterback coach for us, for whoever is going to be coming in here to be our quarterback next year? Whether it's Quinn Ewers, it's not going to be Tua Tagovailoa. Hopefully they don't bring in Malik Willis. Hopefully we draft a quarterback. Hopefully we don't go out in free agency and try and sign some quarterback in free agency, because we don't really have the money for that, right? We are in what you would call cap hell right now. We're $28 million over the cap. We're $28 million over the cap, which means we got to bring it down a little bit just to hit the cap. Now, granted, we are going to get $21 to $24 million in salary cap increase, but is it going to be enough? I don't know, man. Probably not. Probably not. We're going to need to clear some cap space. We talked about Tyreek Hill before. That's something that could happen. We'll know as soon as March 18th. Come March 18th, we'll know whether Tyreek Hill is going to be here next year or not, because we'll owe him $11.8 million come March 18th if he's still on the team. So that could clear up some space if they decide to move on from him. But both Jeff Hafley and Tyreek Hill have both stated that they are willing to restructure the contract to keep Tyreek Hill here, which I think would be a good move for us as Miami Dolphins to keep Tyreek Hill in the building. He's a good veteran wide receiver, and he'll be good. He'll be a good bridge wide receiver. Keep him paired with Waddle, I guess. I mean, there's so much dealing with Waddle's contract that we can't really get rid of Waddle either. So got to clear up some cap space. Let's keep going with these coaches, right? Let's keep going with these coaches, right? So here we look at Ladell Betts. Ladell Betts, who is now our running back coach. Ladell Betts, who's now our running back coach. Now, this guy here worries me. This guy here kind of worries me a little bit because he doesn't have a whole lot of experience, right? Betts joined the Dolphins staff under new head coach Jeff Hafley after a successful season with the Giants, where he helped the team to the 5th most rushing yards in the NFL. Before his time in the NFL, Betts coached running backs at his alma mater, the University of Iowa, from 2021 to 2024, and spent several seasons coaching high school football in South Florida. So he's a local guy from Florida. He has 1 year experience in the NFL, and that was last year with the New York Giants, right? And they did okay, right? They did okay. But I think a lot of that had to do with the emergence of Cam Scatabo. Because if you look at T. Tracy Jr., T. Tracy was garbage. T. Tracy was garbage last year. So was this a product of Ladell Betts rushing with the success from Cam Scatabo and Jackson Dart, which Jackson Dart helped their rushing numbers out quite a bit, right? He had, in the 8 games that Jackson Dart played, I think he had 5 rushing touchdowns and like 250 rushing yards. And Cam Scatabo, like I said, he was just being a beast. So this guy here, Ladell Betts, kind of worries me because he's very, very inexperienced. But the good thing about it, right? The good thing about it here is we have Devon A-Chain. Welcome in, Happy Evelyn. Yeah, Ross continues with some pathetic hires, but I don't think we can blame Ross for these coaching hires here, right? We would have to blame Ross for Sully and Hafley. To whereas the rest of the coaches, I'm pretty sure Hafley and Sully are bringing in. But it starts at the top, right? So Ladell Betts looks very green. He's definitely new. This is going to be his 2nd year in the NFL, coaching in the NFL. Luckily for him, he has a top 5 running back to utilize, and he has some good backup running backs in the running back room as well. That being Ollie Gordon and Jalen Wright. They're not world beaters, but they're still good in their own right. And if you can utilize Devon A-Chain properly, he could make his resume look really good. This Ladell Betts guy. But like I said, he's pretty much a rookie in the NFL. This is going to be his second year coaching in the NFL. He's going to be coaching our running backs. So hopefully he gets it and he takes the advice from the running backs, because our running game was pretty good. We don't really need to improve it too much. I think if we improve the O-line a little bit, we'll already improve the run game a lot, if that makes any sense. Because Devon Achane, man, he's just him. He's just him. I was talking to a guy the other day. They're like, oh, you're not worried about Devon Achane being able to run this new offense or anything like that? I'm like, no, I'm not worried. Because Devon Achane, I feel like he's the type of running back where you can put him on any team and he'll still be him. He'll still be good. He'll still be able to perform. So, Ladell Betts, not a big fan of this hire in the running back room. I would actually give this one a D. I give Nathaniel Hackett a C+, just because Nathaniel Hackett did have success with the Green Bay system, and we're going to be running the Green Bay system here in Miami. So he should go back to having success. And plus, he doesn't have a whole lot of responsibilities, Nathaniel Hackett. He's our quarterback coach. He's not like the offensive coordinator like he was when he was with Green Bay and some of these other places. So he's just a quarterback coach. He's just basically here to coach our quarterbacks. Hopefully he can do a great job with that. Hopefully he can do good with coaching the quarterbacks. So we got a C+ for Nathaniel Hackett. We got a D- for Ladell Betts, just because he's a rookie, right? He's a rookie coach. We have no idea what to expect from him. Hopefully he can do good, but who knows? Who knows? So let's move on, because I don't think there's anything else to learn about this guy. I mean, he was a former running back, so hopefully that'll help him. Alrighty. So now we get into our wide receiver coach. Tyke Tolbert. Now, this guy was, last year we had a guy by the name of Prince as our wide receiver coach. I was not a fan of this guy at all. Prince. He had our wide receivers learning how to juggle in the offseason, trying to tell them that it's going to help them with their hand-eye coordination. It's going to help them with catching. And I get the concept. I get the idea of it. But at the end of the day, like, juggling a ball that's like a baseball or something is way different from catching a football. Totally different shapes, totally different motions, like wasting our receivers' time. Because if we look at it, Jalen Waddle, we go back to last offseason, right? Jalen Waddle was super excited in the pressers to tell us he learned how to juggle in 2 days. But you still dropped 50% of your passes. Nothing changed there. You still dropped 50% of your passes. And not only that, Jalen Waddle doesn't go up for contested catches either. He just kind of like tries to let them fall into his lap. And it doesn't work that way. So, Prince is out. Tyke Tolbert's in as our new wide receiver coach. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be having our wide receivers out there in the off season learning how to juggle, wasting their time juggling balls. Nope. So Tyke Tolbert is the current wide receivers coach for the Miami Dolphins. He joined the Dolphins in January after serving in the same position for the Tennessee Titans in 2024-2025 season. So you can see here, Tolbert has over 30 years of coaching experience with more than 2 decades in the NFL. He is known for developing Pro Bowl wide receivers such as Anquan Bolden, Demaryius Thomas, and OBJ. So we look back towards the beginning of his career. Let's go back here. So we look back at the beginning of his career, right? There it goes. His college coaching stops included the University of Florida, Auburn, Louisiana, Lafayette, and LSU. And then he entered the NFL in 2003 for the Arizona Cardinals, where he was the wide receiver coach there. I'm guessing that's where he was coaching Anquan Boldin. And then from 2004 to 2009, he was in Buffalo. He spent 5 years as the wide receiver coach in Buffalo. All right. And then 2010, he was in Carolina. And then from there, he went to the Denver Broncos. All of these, he's being the wide receiver coach. So he stayed in one position his whole career, basically. So he should be a master at his craft. And that's one thing that I look at. I look at consistency. Although he is moving around a lot, he's staying in the same position. So he should master his craft, even if we only have him for a year or two because he ends up moving somewhere else. While we have him, he should be a good fit. In Denver, he spent 6 years in Denver, 2011 to 2017 as the wide receivers coach. And they're a Super Bowl 50 champion with Peyton Manning. But you had Peyton Manning. I mean, like, come on. You had Peyton Manning, bro. He makes any wide receiver look good, in my opinion. So after his stint with the Denver Broncos, 2018 to 2021, he went and he was wide receiver coach for the New York Giants. And then he went to the Chicago Bears. Chicago, 2022 to 2023. He was a wide receiver coach and the passing game coordinator. So he took on a little bit of an extra role there in Chicago, but still wide receiver coach, right? And then Tennessee Titans, wide receiver coach 2024 to 2025 before coming here. Who is our new strength and conditioning coach? I haven't seen that one come through my feed yet. And thanks for stopping by, Commissary. Glad to see you're back. Glad to see you're back. So one thing that I'm noticing here from this guy's resume, right, and this guy's experience through the NFL, like, seems like he's going to be a good fit, right? Seems like he's going to be really good at coaching these wide receivers. But one thing that I'm seeing is that if he doesn't like it here, he's not going to be here next year. Like, look at this. Tennessee Titans, 2024, 2025. He spent 1 year with the Titans. 1 year with the Chicago Bears because they were bad. They were abysmal. He spent a few years with the New York Giants, probably because they did look promising in those years. Those were the early Saquon Barkley years. So it probably did look pretty promising. Again, Denver Broncos, he spent 6 years there, but they were winning. He won a Super Bowl there. He only spent 1 year with the Carolina Panthers, 1 year with the Arizona Cardinals. He did spend 5 years with the Denver Broncos. So it looks to me like this guy wants to be in a winning team. And if you're not a winning team, he's not going to stay. So if we don't have a winning season this year, I don't expect to see this guy back in 2027. So we might as well get what we can out of this guy while we can. Tyke Tolbert seems like a really good hire for the wide receiver position. I'm going to give this a B, a solid B in my opinion. And the reason I give it a B and not an A is the fact that he could be gone very shortly if it doesn't work out for the Miami Dolphins. Which means that's just a coaching cycle. It's hard to develop a winning team if you're changing coaches every single year. So, got to keep that in mind. We're going to keep an eye on that. Hopefully he likes it in Miami. Todd Hunt, I'm going to have to add him to our list of coaches to go over today. So, I do like Tyke Tolbert. I think he'll be a good addition. Hopefully, we can keep him happy and he'll stick around. Because, like I said, man, he's been wide receiver coach his whole career. So, he should have his craft perfected. Let me know what y'all think about Tyke Tolbert and Liddell Bett and Nathaniel Hackett. Give me y'all's grades on those guys. Like I said, I give a C for Nathaniel Hackett, a D minus for Liddell Bett, just because he's so new to the NFL, and now I'm giving a B, flat B, for Tyke Tolbert. Tyke Tolbert. Go ahead, if y'all just tuning in, smash that like button. If you're new here, smash the subscribe. And don't forget, join our Discord as well. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be. Alright, so let's move on to our next one. Let's move on to the next one. Yinzer, this guy must be from Pittsburgh. Zach Yinzer is an American football coach who was recently hired as the new offensive line coach for the Miami Dolphins on January 28, 2026. He previously served as the assistant offensive line coach for the Houston Texans for 2 seasons. So this guy's been with Bobby Slowik for a short period of time. So let's go ahead and look through his career as of so far. Right now, heading into the 2026 season, Yinzer has over 17 years of coaching experience at both NFL and college levels. So in 2007, he was a graduate assistant at Troy University. So basically bottom of the barrel, not much responsibilities, probably just like kind of intern status. All right, 2008, 2009, he's the offensive line coach at Henderson State, Colquitt County High School. So it looks like that was that campus is a high school and a college, maybe a small little town. Probably not a big role, but offensive line coach there. And then he, from 2010 to 2012, he was the assistant graduate assistant. That doesn't even make sense. He's the assistant to the graduate assistant at Louisiana Tech. I don't know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. If y'all know what that means, y'all let me know in the comments below. That just sounds funny. The assistant graduate assistant. It's like, bro, when does an assistant need an assistant? An assistant's an assistant for a reason. You don't need an assistant. You're an assistant. Anyways, offensive line coach in 2013 to 2014 for the University of California, Berkeley. 2015 to 2017, offensive line run game coordinator in the University of Kansas. So he's basically working his way up from high school to a bunch of D1 level colleges. Nothing special there. A lot of college experience right now. 2018, offensive quality control, Southern Methodist University. 2019 to 2021, assistant offensive line coach for the San Francisco 49ers. So 4 years ago, he enters the NFL and he goes to San Francisco and only spends 2 years there. Happy Evelyn, why are you so upset? You know, I'm here to get you excited for the 2026 season, all right? Yes, Ross does some dumb things, but there's nothing we can do about that, right? We just kind of got to go through what we're given and make the best out of it and have fun, you know? Jeff Hafley and Sully, have faith. Let's have some faith before we start beating them into the ground with our sledgehammers, right? Because at the moment, so far, they haven't necessarily done anything bad. I'm going through this guy here. He looks like he might be an F. I'm not done going over his grade yet and talking about him, because in 2022 to 2023, offensive line coach, University of Kentucky, and then 24 to 25, Houston Texans. And I'm giving this guy an F. F. Unfortunately, I'm giving him an F because of how important this role is for the Miami Dolphins right now in establishing our offensive line. This was probably, for Jeff Hafley and John Eric Sullivan, this was probably our most important hire. And I'll get to why in a second, right? Key insights. Dolphins role. Yenzer will be leading his own position group for the first time in the NFL, a promotion from his previous assistant roles. Reunions. He's reuniting with new Dolphins head coach Jeff Hafley and offensive coordinator Bobby Slowik. They previously worked together with their time in the San Francisco 49ers. His playing career, he played center at Troy University from 2003 to 2006, where he was team captain and first team All-Sun Belt selection his senior year. But I still give this guy an F. Because our offensive line coach was probably our most important coaching hire, other than the quarterback coach, which I think we did okay with the quarterback coach. But this guy here, he has jumped around positions. He hasn't really done the same position his whole career. You can see that he's moving quite often. He's moving around. He's played coaching 17 years and moved around a bunch. Only lasting a year in most places, probably because he's not producing good enough. To me, it looks like this isn't a great hire for our offensive line, especially considering our offensive line needs a whole lot of help. So I give this coaching hire an F. So far we're sitting at a C, a D minus, a B, and an F through 4 coaches so far hired under Jeff Hafley and Eric Sullivan. I'm still gonna be fired up. I'm still slightly fired up. I'm not out yet. But this guy here, Yenzer, I don't like it. I don't like it. Sorry. I don't think he's going to be a good fit, and I don't think he's going to help our offensive line. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Make sure y'all smash that like button. If you're new here, smash that subscribe. We got all kinds of AFC East content we cover for you. My boy putting his New York Jets stuff together right now. Here we are going over our Dolphin coaching hires. And next week, after the Super Bowl, we're going to start putting together some mock drafts. So make sure you hit that notification bell so you get tuned in for that. I would love for people to be here while we're doing a mock draft so that we can work through it. And if anybody knows a site that I can do a mock draft to where I could trade players for picks, because like most of them now, you can only kind of trade picks for picks. And I don't know a site where I could trade a player for a pick. So if anybody knows a good site to use for putting mock drafts together to where I could trade assets for picks, let me know so that I can use that one instead of the one I've been using. But let's keep going through our coaching carousel, right? Our coaching carousel. Next one on the list, Ryan Downard. So Ryan Downard is an American football coach who is currently the secondary coach for the Miami Dolphins of the NFL. He was recently hired by the Dolphins late in January after serving 8 seasons with the Green Bay Packers organization. So he was probably a key guy for Jeff Hafley's defense, right? Because he spent eight seasons with the Green Bay Packers organization. Don't know if it was all as the secondary coach, but he was a part of the success in Green Bay's defense. So as of right now, seems like a good hire, right? Let's keep going through it, right? Downard has experience coaching defensive backs in both college and the NFL before joining the Dolphins in 2026 as the secondary coach. He spent 8 seasons with Green Bay, holding various roles from quality control to defensive backs coach. His time with the Packers saw the secondary rank in the top 10 in passing defense multiple times. Previously, he was a defensive assistant with the Cleveland Browns. His collegiate coaching began with graduate assistant positions and later included coaching safeties and director of football operations at Bowling Green. And not too much else. Let's see if we can find some other stuff on this guy. Let's see if we can find some other stuff for this guy. So he must be pretty green around the ankles as well. He must be pretty green around the ankles as well. Let's see if we can find a little bit more info on this guy. All right. Promoted to defensive backs coach on March 10th. Let's do it like that. There we go. Bring it back up. All right. So he was, hey, get out of here. Get out of here with that. Receive the latest news, updates, and offers as they happen. No thanks. No thanks. I'm a Dolphins fan. I don't need Green Bay info. All right, so he was promoted to defensive back coach on March 10th, 2023 after serving as safety coach for 1 season in the 22 season and assistant defensive back coach for 3 seasons, 19 to 21. Originally joined the Packers in 18 as a defensive quality control coach. He was part of a staff that helped guide the Packers to a top 10 NFL rankings last season in total defense number 5, 314.5 yards per game, run defense number 7, 99.4 yards per game, scoring defense number 6, 19.9 points per game, yards allowed per play number 5 at 5.16, takeaways number 4 at 31, and sacks tied at 8th for 45. The first time since 1996 the Green Bay finished in the top 10 in the league in all 6 categories. He helped the Packers to 4 straight top 10 league rankings in passing defense from 2020 to 2023, the lone NFL team to do so over that span, and Green Bay's first time doing so since 1974 to 77. He helped tutor cornerback Jair Alexander in 2020, who earned second-team All-Pro honors from the Associated Press, the first Green Bay cornerback to earn All-Pro honors since Charles Woodson in 2011. He helped the defense ranked tied for number 3 in the NFL in 2019 with 17 INTs, as 5 members of the secondary recorded multiple picks, and safety Darnell Savage earned PFWA All-Rookie honors. Spent the 2014-2015 season with the Cleveland Browns as a defensive assistant, was part of a staff that helped the Browns lead the league in opponent passer rating and opponent completion percentage, and ranked number 2 in INTs. Played defensive back at Eastern Michigan from 2007 to 2010, where his 6 INTs in 2000 ranked number 2 in the country among freshmen and number 12 overall in the nation. Todd Hunt is currently a strength and conditioning for Miami, hired in 2026. His coaching history. All right, so I like this. I like this hire. I'm going to give this an A-. I like it. He's been with Jeff Hafley. He's been in that defense. Obviously, they've had success in that defense, and he was a part of that. Yes, he's a little green. He doesn't have a whole lot of coaching experience. He's Seems like he has about 8 years of coaching experience or so. But he's been with Green Bay the whole time, so it's kind of like the same situation with Sully, right? He's been in a winning organization. He's seen how it's done, and he's going to be with Jeff Hafley again. So I like it. I like the numbers that were produced under his coaching. And I think it'll be good for us. I think we can continue to develop our defense and can continue to develop this smash mouth, tough, physical team that Jeff Hafley wants to build, because really that's what I want to get back to, right? I want to get back to having a tough defense. We don't have to have a great offense. I don't need a great offense. Let's have a tough smash mouth defense again. Let's hold teams to 17 points or less, and then all we got to do is score 20. And I'll be happy with that. Winning games by 3 points because we're like forcing turnovers, getting INTs, pressuring the quarterback, planting quarterbacks on their ass. Like, I can get down with that. I can support that. I give this one an A. I give this one an A for sure. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, another defensive coach. Another defensive coach. So this next one, Jahmile Addae, is the cornerback coach for the Miami Dolphins, a position he accepted on January 29th of 2026. He previously held the same role with the Buffalo Bills. So we look back through this man's career. And we start at the beginning. The Cincinnati Bearcats, NCAA. Isn't that basketball? Anyways, Cincinnati Bearcats, running back coach and director of player development. So he started on offense as a running back coach. Arizona Wildcats is where he hits the defensive scene, right? Defensive back coach and analyst from 2013 to 2017. All right, so that's 4 years. And then Minnesota Golden Gophers, defensive back coach, 2018. And then he looks like he's moving up, basically. He's moving up, which is good. West Virginia Mountaineers, secondary / cornerback coach from 19 to 20, where his unit led the nation in passing defense in 2020. And then Georgia Bulldogs. He goes to Georgia as the defensive back coach in 2021, where he won a national championship. And then heads down to Miami. He heads to Florida for 2022-2023 to become their secondary coach. And then last year he was in Buffalo as their cornerback coach. I don't know what to think of that. Now he's here in Miami. And I just realized I don't have Chris Tabor or Bobby Slowik up on my coaching carousel thing either. But now he is here. So I don't know what to think of this one. I really don't know what to think of this one. I feel like it's gonna be a good hire. Like, he did work his way up through the college ranks, starting at small schools and then working his way up through to bigger schools. But you could see here, same issue that the other guy had, Tyke Tolbert, to where it kind of seems like if it doesn't work out in year one, he won't be back in year two. Which is concerning because we need it to work out. Especially if he works out and does good with this team. I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it a B minus. I'm gonna give it a B minus. Just because it does look like he will be good for the team. He'll do a good job based on how he's moved up through the ranks. I'm concerned about longevity with this guy. Concerned about longevity with this guy. All right, so Todd Hunt. Next on the list. Todd Hunt. All right, Todd Hunt. Yes, yeah, it does. It also helps. It also helps everybody out in the chat. I appreciate it. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pull it up so everybody can see it first on the screen. Several notable individuals share the name Todd Hunt, primarily in professional sports and military leadership. And it looks like we got the right guy, brother. It looks like we got the right guy, brother. A professional football coach who currently serves as the strength and conditioning coach. See, it doesn't have it updated though, but yeah, strength and conditioning coach assistant for the Green Bay Packers as of 2024-2025. So military background. Oh wait, that's Major General M. Todd Hunt. I'm gonna go off of Commissari's info, because he gave us some pretty good info here. You guys can check it out in the comments below. Todd Hunt is currently a strength and conditioning coach for the Miami Dolphins, hired in January 2026. His coaching history includes current Miami Dolphins, 2025 strength and conditioning coach for the Green Bay Packers, 2019 to 2023 assistant strength and conditioning coach for Cincinnati Bengals, 2018 assistant graduate assistant defense, University of Illinois. There's that assistant to an assistant again. Assistant strength coach at Fresno State from 2016 to 2017. Graduate assistant for defense. Before coaching, Hunt was a standout defensive end and team captain at Fresno State. Y'all can thank Commissary for that info there. Appreciate you so much. Definitely helps out. I mean, I gotta. So basically, like how I'm looking at this is if you were working with the Green Bay Packers and you were working with our current head coach, I give you a decently high grade because like you were already in a winning system, a winning organization, and you're just kind of like taking it from there and bringing it over here. So it doesn't seem like he has a whole lot of coaching experience, but I am going to give this a B because our strength and conditioning coaches from previous years have been completely garbage. And the Green Bay Packers, I mean, to an extent, like they do stay pretty healthy. I mean, yeah, they get injuries, but every team gets injuries. Some things no matter how hard you work, you just can't combat a broken leg or a torn ACL. There's just some things that you just can't control. So strength and conditioning coach really is a tough job to have because you're fighting so many variables, especially in such a physical contact sport. But we want to build a tough physical team, so we're going to need a good strength and conditioning coach over here to make sure that these guys can take the hits and also give the hits. So thanks for that info, Commissary. Appreciate it. So let's go ahead. We're not done yet. We still have Chris Tabor because I didn't fill in everybody. I missed a few people. I ended up missing a few people. So let's fill it in for Chris Tabor real quick, because he came from Buffalo. He came over here from Buffalo. Bam! There we go. There we go. All right, Chris Tabor is an American football coach who is currently the special teams coordinator for the Miami Dolphins in the NFL. He was hired on January 23rd after spending the 2025 season with the Buffalo Bills. He started his career in the NFL in 2011 to 2017 as the special teams coordinator in Cleveland. Nothing special happened there. They weren't breakout special teams plays. 2018 to 2021, he spent with the Chicago Bears, same role. Carolina Panthers, 22 to 23, same role. And then it looks like he took a break in the 24-25 season. And then last year, no, maybe it was last year. Okay, yeah. So last year, 24-25 season, he was with Buffalo Bills. And now he's with the Miami Dolphins as their special teams coordinator. So in the NFL from 2011 till now, that's 15 years in the same position, coaching the same position. So again, this is just meaning that he's had time to master his craft. You haven't jumped around. You're not trying to learn a bunch of different things. You're focusing on one thing, and you're getting good at it. Buffalo Bills special teams last year, they weren't extraordinary, but they weren't bad either. Okay, so I'll give this a B minus, just because it seems like it's a really good hire. It really does seem like it's a really good hire. It just, special teams is so hard to grade because it's almost irrelevant. It's almost irrelevant because you can't be great at special teams unless you're blocking kicks, blocking punts, or you're able to return kicks for touchdowns. Unless you're doing that, all special teams are kind of the same. So you really have to come in and make a huge difference on special teams in order to be exceptional. And that's just hard. Tabor has over 20 years of coaching experience across high school, college, and professional levels. He briefly served as the Panthers' interim head coach for the final 6 games of the 2023 season, finishing with a 1-5 record. Under Tabor's coordination in 2025, the Bills' special team unit were highly successful, with running back Ray Davis earning All-Pro honors as the league's leading kick returner. Tabor has a history of developing Pro Bowl returners, including Devin Hester, Josh Cribbs, and Ray Davis. Now, see, that right there makes the difference. And that's going to jump it up to an A right there. He worked with Devin Hester. He gets an A. Right? Smash that like button. Put some fire emojis in the chat if you agree with that. Devin Hester so far has been the greatest returner of all time. Not been many better than Devin Hester. Go ahead and put some fire emojis in the chat. Smash all the buttons. Smash all the buttons. Because I now give this guy an A based on that fact right there. Josh Cribbs taking it to the crib. And with that also being said, that puts 3 former coaches on our team, right? Nathaniel Hackett had coaching experience. This guy had a few games coaching. He was a head coach for the Panthers for 6 games. And now Jeff Hafley. who had previous coaching experience on the college level. So technically, we have 3 head coaches on our team right now. Could that be good? Could that be bad? What does that mean for the Miami Dolphins? Because sometimes having too many chefs in the kitchen can be a bad thing. But it could also be a good thing if everybody knows how to work together. Cohesion. They're all putting their bright minds together. It could be good. But it could be bad. We don't know yet. We don't know yet. Now let's move on to the next one. He's not technically in the building yet. But I know the breaking news is coming soon. I know it's coming. It's reported right now. It's being reported right now. Let me check my Twitter. I don't see it come through on my Twitter yet. Work. Anyways. Boom. So it's not technically official yet. We're basically waiting to see what happens with Anthony Weaver. But Sean Duggan is most likely going to end up being our defensive coordinator for the Miami Dolphins. As you can see here, Google AI is already reporting it, even though it hasn't officially been announced yet, because we can't. We still have Anthony Weaver to deal with and figure out what's going on there. So we technically cannot announce it yet. But I'm pretty sure there's already understandings throughout the Miami organization that Sean Duggan is moving to South Florida as well. I don't know why it says Chris Tabor up there still. Hold on. Oh, I didn't switch it. That's why. I didn't switch it. Bam. Sean Duggan has left his position as the Green Bay Packers linebackers coach to join the Miami Dolphins as their defensive coordinator, where he will once again work under former Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley, who is now Miami's head coach. Duggan originally joined the Packers as a defensive assistant on February 26, 2024, and was promoted to linebacker coach in 2025. Duggan has an extensive coaching background, primarily focused on linebackers at the collegiate level before moving to the NFL. So as we go through it, Boston College. So this is where he had spent time with Jeff Hafley in Boston College in 2015 as a graduate assistant. And then from there he goes to Hawaii in 2016, 2017 to be the linebackers coach over there. 2018, UMass linebacker coach. 2019, Ohio State graduate assistant. And then back to Boston College as the linebacker coach for 2020 to 2022. Still at Boston College in 23, co-defensive coordinator and linebackers coach. 24, Green Bay Packers defensive assistant. 25, linebackers coach. And it says 25 to present Miami Dolphins. defensive coordinator. Now, don't forget, we reported this already. There's been people out there trying to say that they were the first to report on this, but y'all just remember that the AFCEASTIEBOYS reported on this guy last weekend. Y'all heard it here first. And y'all can see here, AI is already confirming that he's here, even though it hasn't been announced yet. They're already saying that he's here. Because it's pretty much going to happen. Like I said, we're just waiting on Anthony Weaver. Because if Anthony Weaver can get a head coaching job, which he's not going to, we can get compensatory picks for him, even though he's not going to get a head coaching job. And he's probably not going to get another job anyways, because everybody's pretty much filled up. So he might end up losing out. I'm going to give this guy a B+. Again, I started high because he's been working with Jeff Hafley. He's worked with Jeff Hafley for, let's see, 3 years. Like I said, he worked with him in Boston College. He was a graduate assistant, and then he worked with him again for the last couple years in Green Bay. He's pretty much coached one position. He's worked his way coaching the one position, linebackers coach mostly, defensive coordinator. So he's mastering his craft. He was a co-defensive coordinator at Boston College and the linebackers coach, and then a defensive assistant and then linebackers coach. So he's been mastering his craft, and he's going to be working with familiar faces. So he should be okay, and he's just going to be the defensive coordinator. Jeff Hafley already said that he plans on calling plays. So Sean Duggan's not going to have a whole lot of responsibility as far as defensive coordinator goes anyways. He's kind of going to be coaching the linebackers, and he's going to be the backup for Jeff Hafley. Because, I mean, let's be real. Being a coach of an NFL football team in real time, like, you kind of got to focus on your job. You're going to have your defensive coordinator is still going to be making plays at times, because you're going to need to be making decisions as the head coach. So you need to trust your guy and your defensive coordinator to know that he can get your back. He can cover your back when you're busy doing other things, because that was one of the biggest problems we had with Mike McDaniel. He couldn't do it all, and it showed. It showed that he couldn't do it all. How many times were we late on getting plays to the huddle? A lot of people wanted to blame that on Tua and stuff, but no, that was a Mike McDaniel thing. Like, let's be real, ladies and gentlemen, that was a Mike McDaniel thing, because Mike was trying to do it all, and he'd be busy doing something else, and there they are in the huddle waiting for the play to come in, but Mike McDaniel's trying to draw up a defensive play for the next series on that, or do this, and worry about timeouts, and worrying about the time on the clock, or hey, should I challenge that? Oh shit, I'm worrying about trying to challenge this. I need to get a play into the huddle. Oh crap, we got 10 seconds to get the play out and get to the line and get the ball out. Crap, now we wasted a timeout. That's why it's important to have trust in your coordinators. You gotta bring in these coordinators that you can trust to be able to pick up the slack while you're doing your coaching job. And I feel like Jeff Hafley did a good job with bringing in Bobby Slowik. He's worked with Bobby Slowik before. Very comfortable. And I like Bobby Slowik as an offensive coordinator. There's some people that aren't exactly high on the Bobby Slowik hiring, but I give it an A. I give Bobby Slowik an A. I personally was fighting for this guy last year to come into the building. Well, he was already in the building, but he was our pass game coordinator last year. But I was fighting for him to be our offensive coordinator, because I saw what he did in Houston with a rookie C.J. Stroud and a rookie coach in D'Amico Ryans. And now he's in Miami. He has a chance to do it all over again. We could look like the 2022 2023 Houston Texans, right? New head coach, a rookie head coach at that. We could be drafting a rookie quarterback that could end up winning the job because, I mean, let's be real. We're not rolling out there with Tua. And anyone can battle Quinn Ewers for the number 1 spot. And we don't have the cap space to go out and get Malik Willis as much as you guys want. If they were smart, they wouldn't go get Malik Willis. They would draft a quarterback. And let's just roll with what we got. Roll with what we got. Fix our cap hell. Let's not try to fix our cap hell by giving us more cap hell problems. And going and getting a guy like Malik Willis for a year or two for $15 to $20 million a year is not going to help us. It's not going to help us, ladies and gentlemen. Will it make us slightly better? Yes. Will it win us a championship? No. So what's the point? Why hinder our progress for an immediate mediocre season when we can work on progressing, work through this tough 2020-26 season or 26-27 season, and then come 2027, it's all rainbows and dandelions and just nothing but green sky, blue skies and green fields in front of us, right? Because we do it the right way, working our way out of cap hell, building through the draft and developing players we have, retaining talent that we have, and just coaching and developing. Just like Jeff Hafley said in their presser, you're going to build through the draft, we're going to coach, we're going to develop, and we're going to do it properly. Yeah, they said they'll hit the free agency market when they can. They didn't say they were going to this year. They specifically said when we can, we will hit the free agency market. So, and they'll build through there. But most likely this year, we're not going to be doing a lot of free agency building. We might extend, re-sign a couple of the players that we have on the squad. That's for another day. That's another topic for another day after we do our mock drafts, But right now, we're looking through the coaches. Let me know which coaches y'all like and y'all don't like on this list of coaches we brought in. I want to know y'all's grades too. So please come back after the show ends and drop the comments and leave your grades for each of these coaches. I want to know y'all's grades as well, because I have an opinion. So do y'all. We all have opinions. I'm not saying that mine is exactly 100% correct. That's why I want to know everyone else's opinions as well, because it's how we learn. It's how we get better. We learn from each other. Because you guys out there may look at it a different way than I look at it. The fact that I look at it like, oh, you're coming from Green Bay, you've worked with this organization, you've worked with these people. I'm already starting you at a C. You know what I mean? So you can only go up from there. But as we look at Bobby Slowik and his career, he was with us last year as a passing game coordinator. He gets elevated to the offensive coordinator this year. Slowik has an extensive coaching history in the NFL, primarily with the San Francisco 49ers. That's enough said right there. Kyle Shanahan. And then he went to Houston Texans and he began his NFL career in 2010 as a video assistant with Washington before moving to a defensive assistant role from 2011 to 2013. Not super exciting. Video assistant. The hell is that? Anyways, San Francisco 49ers. Slowik joined the 49ers in 2017, initially on the defensive staff before transitioning to the offensive side of the ball in 2019. He served as the offensive passing game coordinator in 2022, and then he heads to Houston. He was hired as the offensive coordinator for the Houston Texans in 2023 by head coach DeMeco Ryans in his first season. He was instrumental in the stellar rookie performance of quarterback C.J. Stroud, helping the team win the AFC South title. He was fired in January of 2025 after 2 seasons. And then we all seen what the Houston Texans looked like in the 2025-2026 season. C.J. Stroud was not the same. Their run game was not the same. They could not produce anything on offense. That defense, though, was still cooking. That defense still took them to the playoffs and beyond. Almost. Could have took them into the AFC Championship. It could have been Houston Texans versus the Broncos had they still had Bobby Slowik as their offensive coordinator. We could see the Houston Texans in the Super Bowl right now if they had Bobby Slowik as their offensive coordinator. This guy gets an A+ from me. I've seen his work. I've seen what he can do. He gets an A+ from me. He joins as our senior passing game coordinator last year following the hiring of new coach. Slowik was promoted to offensive coordinator and will be responsible for calling plays. Passing game coordinator, I watched a lot of his pressers last year. It looked like he didn't have a whole lot of say in what was going on. He was the new guy in the building, to whereas all of our other coaches had been here for years, multiple years. You had Mike McDaniel as the offensive guru who was pretty much controlling mostly everything. And if we look at some of those passing plays, like, we've broken down the tape, right? We've seen that there were plenty of times where receivers were open and our quarterback was just making the bad read, which is a reflection of Darrell Bevell, who's no longer on the team, and now we have a new quarterback coach who can hopefully do better than Darrell Bevell did. That's a fair assessment. So I'll expect your grades by what, week 6 or so, week 7. I'll put a little reminder. I'll put a little reminder on my calendar to come back and check it out in week 6 or week 7 to see your grades at that point. But I mean, all in all, if we break it down, I think the overall grade between all of the coaches is a C. So not great from Jeff Hafley, but not necessarily bad either. There's a couple of them that, like, I'm really questionable about, like Liddell Betts. Like, I'm giving him a bad grade just because there's not enough to go on. There's not enough to go off of for Liddell Betts. He's pretty much a rookie coaching in the NFL. His first year in the NFL was last year with the Giants, and could say most of that came from the Cam Scatabo effect. So I gotta give it overall a C right now. And these are first impressions. Like, I get what you're saying. I'd like to see a little bit more before giving it a final grade. But as it stands right now, like, those are the grades I'm giving it based on resume and accomplishments and scheme fit and how I feel like they would fit with the Miami Dolphins. Again, I'm all on board with Jeff Hafley and Sully. So at the end of the day, we just got to trust that they're going to do what's right for the team and what's right for the Miami Dolphins moving forward. And we just got to be patient with these guys. We got to be patient with these guys because we already know that the 2026 season is complete question marks. Complete question marks. Because not only do we have a tough schedule, we're in cap hell. Got to figure out the quarterback situation. We basically got to build a team from scratch here. They got to go in this offseason, and they got to figure out the pieces that they want to keep and the pieces that they're going to get rid of. So we'll see how it goes. What's up, Kenna? How you doing this morning?
Shit, I said, what's up? What's going on? At work, put a little overtime. What you got going on?
Well, I was just finishing up my coaching grades now that we got pretty much all of our coaches in place and replaced. I was going through and giving some coaching grades. I was about to get off here and head to work myself, so you'll have to like tune in and catch the after show and leave me your comments on what you feel about the coaches that we brought in. If you want to give a little insight real quick before we get off here, go for it.
Well, I mean, I ain't really graded them yet. I've been waiting to see how this off season gonna go because you know, regardless of how we feel about them right now or any grades that we give them right now, this off season gonna ultimately determine how we really feel about them. So, with that being said, I'm just really holding a lot of my opinions to after, free agency hit and mainly what we're gonna do with this Tua thing. I feel like if we trade him and give up a draft pick, I'm done with this coaching staff. You know, but if we find ways to move off of them and save up on the cap and keep our draft picks and everything, you know, I'll be still holding my judgment. So, that's just what I think about that, especially with the trades swarming around about how Atlanta might be a good target for or a landing spot for Tua.
Atlanta. I mean, like, if we could trade Tua for Kirk, that'd be great. That'd be the greatest move, and they get an A+ all across the board, right?
Well, I mean, I don't even think Kurt was in the trade. I think it was more of, you know, well, they never said who was in the trade from what I was reading on, some sites. They never said who would be in the trade, but it was more like Miami eating most of the cap and giving up a draft pick for some teams to even think about trading for Tua. So that was just my thing, yo. Like these guys said they want to build through the draft. It just don't make sense of giving up a draft pick to come up off a player that you can really cut and save money like that.
Yeah, because if that was the case, that means that you're gonna be dipping into free agency in the off season. So like, what's the
Facts.
point? What's the point of saving that money if you're just gonna go out and spend it on somebody who could just be just as bad anyways, right? And I totally understand where you're coming from on that aspect. But yeah, no, I just wanted to get my grades on the coaching, basically based on their resume as it stands coming into the building. Like I know that these grades could change from moving from now until the start of season. Colasari said the same thing that you did. He kind of wants to see what they do before giving any kind of grade. I just wanted to get on here early and give you guys the reaction grades, basically is what we're calling, because they're basically at a C for me right now overall. Between all the coaches, we got a C. We got a C grade, so that we can either go up or down from there. And that's kind of where I'm gonna gauge the off season. We're starting at a C for most of these guys because, like, some of these guys, I don't. I like them, but if we don't do good in year one, we might not have them again next year. Like that Tyke Tolbert guy, like he seems like an A+ as far as a wide receivers coach go, but he doesn't stick around losing organizations beyond that 1 year. So,
Right. Well, look, I'm gonna get off of this. I got a phone call I gotta take.
all right,
But
hey, we'll
if you
get.
come back on later today, I'll hook up with you.
It probably won't be later today. I'm gonna be working till like 9, 10 o'clock tonight. So if anything, it'd be over the weekend.
All right, I'm with it.
All right, man. Have a good day.
You too.
Later. So yeah, so those are my grades, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, let me know what y'all think down in the comments on your way down there. Make sure you smash that like button. If you're new here, smash that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret subscribing to the AFC Eastie Boys. AFC Beastie Boys. Join the Discord. We have giveaways. We talk sports. Trying to make our Discord a friendly, football-filled conversation community. Share pictures, share your life, whatever. Just get on there, conversate. We drop parlays. It's where you want to be if we do giveaways. And it's also how you can get up here like Kenna was just up here. You can just hop in the voice channel and you can join the stream. You can spill your thoughts. You can conversate. We can talk through stuff. And just sit up here and shoot shit for a while. Some days I do streams just to get up here and bullshit. But today I have to work, unfortunately. Even though it's raining outside and cold. It sucks. I work with ponds and fish tanks. So it's going to be a really crappy day today. But yeah, also DCC, go ahead and go make a donation if you can. There's no donation too big or too small to make a difference. It takes a community to make a difference. We're less than $25 away from our first $500, which will have me running a mile per day, every day, all the way up until the 5K. For every $500, I run a mile. So if we raise $2,500, y'all gonna have me running 5 miles a day for the next month. Woo, that'll be fun. Yeah, Betts is a former running back, but he's also very green as far as coaching goes. Last year was his first year coaching in the NFL, and it was just for the New York Giants, right? So how much of that success is really for Liddell Betts? Because if you look at T. Tracy Jr.'s rushing stats compared to Cam Scatabo, it's night and day. So I don't know how he's going to do. He's got a very low grade for me as it stands right now, just because he's so green and we don't know what kind of coach he's going to be. The only reason he doesn't get an F is because he does get to work with Devon Achane, who's a top 5 running back in the league and can go anywhere and work with anybody and be Himothy. So yeah, so if you can, hit that QR code, or you can find the link on our profile page. Go make a donation to the DCC. Trust me, every dollar counts. We're so close to curing cancer. I know it. I know we're so close to curing cancer. It's just a matter of time. It could be your donation that gives them what they need to cure cancer. With the advancements in modern medicine and technology, it's only a matter of time before it happens. We got the giveaway going on for 500 subscribers. We're almost at 500 subscribers as well. And when we do, we got a nice little Mike Gesicki autographed photo that we're giving away to one of you lucky viewers. All you got to do is like, comment, share. Make sure you tag us if you share us on different platforms. Tag the AFC Eastie Boys. We're on all your platforms. You got to make sure you're plugged into the Discord, though, in order to get your winnings. And obviously, you need to be subscribed, because we can't get to 500 subscribers if you don't smash that subscribe button. Smash that subscribe button. And then one last link. I mean, there are 2 other links. We do have a link to a PayPal, where if you want to make donations directly to us, you can. We don't typically ask for it, but it is there, and we do accept it, because we don't get super chats or anything yet. We're almost there. We're almost there, ladies and gentlemen, because the content is great. Man, where was I going? Oh yeah. Charlie's Choice Collectibles, that's where I was going. Charlie's Choice Collectibles, that's our online shop where you can find all kinds of goodies, antiques and collectibles, from Pokemon cards to football and baseball cards to memorabilia, NFL memorabilia, comic memorabilia, basically anything for a nerd you can find on there. You can also find your customized AFC Eastie Boys jerseys on there as well. All you gotta do is type into the comments, send us a little private message saying you want to get you one of those AFC Eastie Boys customizable jerseys. We'll get some information from you, find out how customized you want it. They start at $35. It's good looking shirt too. Let me show you. So that's your basic AFC Eastie Boy jersey. Pretty basic. Got the Dolphin colors. And then got the name on the background. And then you'll also get a little AFC Eastie Boys logo on the bottom. To where you would have the NFL logo. And then just so y'all know I'm not fooling you guys. Just so you know I'm not pranking you guys. It is real. It is real, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Gesicki autograph 9x16. Hurdling over it, dude. His rookie year. He's wearing the number 86. Because 88 was taken when the Miami Dolphins drafted him. It comes with authentication. It comes with the authentication. Like I said, easy to win that. Easy to win that. As soon as we hit 500 subscribers, one of you lucky viewers is going to get it. And we'll probably do a special stream when we hit 500 anyways, so give everybody last minute chances to enter in and to be able to win it. We'll probably do something cool. And we also have another giveaway planned for when we hit 1,000 subscribers. And it involves Dan the Man Marino. So make sure y'all push. Y'all push the AFCEASTIE Boys out there to everybody you know that likes football or just likes to talk. But I got to get off here. I went about 10-15 minutes longer than I wanted to. I got work to do. I will catch you guys next time. Make sure y'all have that subscribe button smashed and turn on that notification bell because you never know when we're going to drop some great content for you guys. Until next time, stay happy and fins up, baby. Peace.